Welcome to yet another episode of Nerds with Badges. It is May the 19th. Gosh, this year is flying by. I am so happy today because I don't know if I mentioned this before in my other videos. Pretty sure I did. I used to play Mario Kart like pretty frequently on my Switch and on my Wii and my Wii U. But Nintendo, they will always force us to upgrade, because they cut the servers on the old games. But anyway, I've been playing Mario Kart on my Switch for probably about I've had this thing since I think I bought it in 2020. I think I bought it in early 2018 or late 2017 because I know I didn't get it right away. But I've been playing Mario Kart pretty frequently. Now this Mario Kart 8 Deluxe actually came out on the Wii U years prior to it coming on the Switch, which is really interesting. So that game has a real extended, amazing life span, because when they ported it over to the Switch, they added I think it was 48 or something like that tracks and some new characters and stuff. And I mean, it was just amazing. I mean, the game was already popular, and it's just like people still playing it. When I log on today, I was able to log on. First of all, they fixed my problem. AT&T was able to fix my internet issue because I called Nintendo, and they had me on the phone with a tech guy. We talked for probably about 30 minutes, and we couldn't. I did all the troubleshooting stuff he had me doing, and nothing was working. Changing the DNS and all this other stuff, learning stuff I didn't know. So his advice was other people had the same problem, and the people either got a hotspot, they canceled it, they changed their internet service provider, or they had to get a solution from whoever was providing the internet service. So I called AT&T, and it was so funny because right when I was calling, and the message said I was going to be a really long wait, and I got a call from my I had an accident in my arm like a month ago, and so I'm getting all these I'm going to all these appointments for physical therapy and stuff. So right when I called AT&T and they put me on hold, I got a call from the place that I'm gonna have to go to for an MRI or whatever they're doing. So we were on the phone for a minute, and I had AT&T on hold, and I was so scared that I was gonna lose my call and have to, and it's so funny because after all was said and done, I switch over after my phone call, after I get everything set up with my medical issue thing, and I switch back over to AT&T. They're still on hold, and there's this jazz music playing, elevator music playing in the background, and I probably waited maybe another 5 minutes, I would say, maybe a little bit more than that, but eventually customer service or tech, picked up, and he was able to solve my problem, because I'm I can't play Mario Kart, man. It's what the hell, and I can't. And my PlayStation has been kicking me out of matches when I try to play my Godzilla video game, which I play almost every day. I can't even play with some people. The match will start, and then I'll just get kicked, and I'll get an error message. So that was just freaking annoying having to deal with that. So I'm happy about that, because finally, man, I feel like I can, Mario Kart is like a drug, it's it's kind of hard to get over it. Anyway, I ended up playing probably about half an hour, I guess, today, and I didn't really get a chance to play much of anything. Well, actually, I did play Marvel Rivals on my PlayStation. I played a few rounds of that because I check in every now and then. They're always adding extra stuff. I'm still waiting for that day when we get Blade. So anyway, I'm here at work as usual early. There's some new coffee I'm trying out. I got this off of Amazon. I tried different coffees. I'm a coffee fanatic. This is some coconut cappuccino. It's actually pretty good. It's better than tastes better than I thought. I'm trying to be healthy too. Instead of eating shit like this, everything in moderation, right? Trying to be healthy with my snacks. I got some what else do I have in here? Trying to not knock everything off this table. Yeah, this is much healthier than candy and gummy bears or whatever. So it's a struggle. When you work nights, sometimes, maybe in the middle of the night you don't have the convenience of going to like a supermarket, maybe, depending, I guess it depends on where, but working security, I'm used to having to eat a lot of junk, so you gotta like really put more effort into like being healthy. And, maybe the 7-Eleven next door being closed now at 11 o'clock. 7-Eleven used to be open 24 hours, but things got so bad in this area that I work in here. They, I think it's been a year, they closed the 7-Eleven at 11 o'clock, and it's just been hell for all of us because, we can't go out and get coffee and snacks. So people either go to the vending machines or they order DoorDash, Uber Eats or whatever. Or, like I do, I order my stuff from Amazon, or I go to the grocery store and I just get my junk food and my stuff, so I don't have to worry about anything. So I'm usually try to keep myself stocked. I keep my juices in the refrigerator and stuff. Stuff doesn't get taken from the refrigerator here like it used to. It used to be an issue. I always wish they would hide a video camera in here so we could find out who was taking people's shit. But anyway, I'm a little tired because I don't know why the last few days I've been waking up early and just so I don't feel like I really got a lot of sleep. There was somebody outside my door. I don't know what the hell they were doing. Somebody were trying to come inside the door. I just like laid there and I ended up like falling back asleep because I knew I was expecting some packages from Amazon. I didn't see anything when I came home this morning. Although there was something saying a package was delivered. My manager actually had something for me that she took because she saw it sitting out there in the lobby. And when I did finally get up after showering and everything, brush my teeth and get up, and I look outside my door because I think I was going to see my manager to get my package that I knew she probably had it. I was hoping, but there was a box outside my door, and the box had been open, and there was like a brown kind of like one of those padded kind of like envelopes, and someone had opened my box, and it's like there was a letter on the box here, apologies, we thought it was in front of our door, I thought it was mine, and so I was like, that made me feel some kind of way. And I saw later the other envelope, the envelope that was there with the package in it was also open. So I told my manager, she's like, what, your name and your apartment number and everything is on why would you, it's just so crazy. I used to always get my stuff mailed to my job because, I had stuff come up missing from my apartment. Sometimes people would just come inside the building. People sometimes would prop the damn door open or whatever, or leave the door open, or some crazy person come inside and just help themselves, and it was a big problem. So, but now the new policy is we can't get packages here anymore, so I'm having to adjust. And speaking of on the job stuff, last night was one for the ages, I guess I can say. There was a fight. I personally witnessed two fights. Well, one fight and a half, I guess. When I got in, there were people yelling at each other. This is what I don't like about working here. This is a good place, what the services it offers to the LGBT community. Beautiful building, but they put this in the fucking worst ever location. Because we got like a lot of prostitution, people walking around here, questionable character, homeless people sleeping outside and stuff. This has become real crazy. From when I first started working here, it was nothing like this. We had issues. But most of the issues I had working here when I first started 18 years ago was people coming over from the clubs, trying to use the bathroom on the property, and people trying to sneak inside the building, and then things have gotten like really crazy. And so last night when I came in, and there's always people like standing outside when I come in, when I get out of my Uber, I feel like I'm in high school again. I got to walk past the Mean Girls Club or whatever, because people can be, when they're with their friends, they can just be like really rambunctious, engaging in behavior that they probably wouldn't if they were just by themselves. But anyway, I walk through this, and it's just like, oh God, I just, get out of the Uber drive, and the Uber and just go straight, don't even look. I remember watching the movie The Craft, and they were walking down the street, and the girl was like don't just look straight ahead. Don't make eye contact with anybody, and just keep walking. just uh, so. And I had a real interesting conversation with my Lyft driver tonight too when I was coming to work. We were talking about like moving and stuff, like how expensive it is, and like, I was talking about how I would love to move if I could move somewhere. If I could move to Africa, I have a buddy who actually did it. He moved a couple of years ago. He moved to Africa, and he's been there. So I haven't talked to him in a minute, but he used to live in Texas, and I remember talking to him years ago when they had that big flood over there. And his area was like just, water was, it was a big issue. But yeah, he's been living in Africa. So I need to talk to him actually maybe and, see what the process is. Because, I mean, I could conceivably do this in, I guess, 2025. I could conceivably pull this off in 5 years, save up my money, travel over there, check out the place, make friends, get contacts, look at what the jobs are like, or figure out what I'm gonna do, for my finances and stuff, because the Lyft driver was saying how he has a business, he has like a real estate, and that's a nice little side gig to have, especially when you retire. You can just have a business here or real estate and be living in another country and just be living really well. I mean, you could be living large if you take like say 50,000, 100,000, and you go to Brazil, and you convert it over. I mean, you're like rich. And I know this because I do, for my work, for my artwork that I have people do for me. I send somebody $100, they convert it, it becomes like $600. So it's amazing. And this is why a lot of businesses, they outsource. I mean, it happens. You got people who are trying to not be broke, and so you're trying to do what's best for your business. I mean, it's good when you can do business with people here in the United States, but it's, if you can afford it, more power to you. So, like I said, last night when I came in, I had to go over to the living area that we have for the youth, that the young LGBT, and sometimes straight too, I guess. They rent apartments. Some of those people that are LGBT have lived in the shelter, which we have here also. And then we have like a senior living quarters also. So this is a big thing. This building is only probably maybe officially about 6 years old, I'd say, because it was when I first came to LA in '93. This was like an employment office. I would come here for help with my resume and like job searching and stuff. And computers were like these big bulky things. And, we didn't have tablets and all. This is back in '93. So I remember when this building wasn't even here. They tore everything down. They tore the employment office down. I used to come in here. I used to actually work security in this building for the same company, for the LGBT company. I was security for like a year because they bought the building, and then they were gradually like doing some construction, and then they had to dig the parking lots underground. But then there was some legal issues I think happened, and things kind of stalled for a minute. And it's called the Anna Rosenstein, I think it's still called that. I don't know if they changed the name. I don't really see that. Now they just seem like they just call it, oh my God, my brain. I don't even know if they call it Anna Rosenstein. I guess they still do. That's terrible. But I work nights, so what can I say? But Los Angeles LGBT Center, provides a good service for the community. And last night, was a reminder of like, this is, I was watching an interview with Clancy Brown. He was talking about how they were filming a scene from Highlander, and Sean Connery was running down the beach, running full out down the beach, with the other immortal character. And Sean Connery, he said, I'm getting too old for this shit. So, I mean, I remember sitting there at the desk. I took the desk at 10 o'clock, right on the dot. Just had time to run to my locker, get my assignments, and then run to my post. So I'm sitting there, and people are yelling at each other, just yelling. And I don't know, then it just kind of quieted down. Then the police show up, and the police are like asking me if there's a fight, and I'm like, no one said anything to me about any fight. I don't know anything. And my supervisor comes over, and we're like, we don't, there's nothing going on that we know of. And somebody, the police leave. One of them was really gorgeous too, by the way, because they always are most of the time. But anyway, so the police leave, and then maybe 10 minutes later, somebody comes downstairs and they're saying, yeah, there was something going on, and they had called the police. So since the cameras are out, they're not really working that well. I can't see anything, and we don't know anything. So I'm thinking around, God, what time was it, man? I feel like right around 10:30-ish or 10:45-ish. It may have been, I'm trying to remember if it was was it during my second hour at the TSA area. I think it was around 12 o'clock, because we switched. I rotated. I was at TSA for 1 hour, 10 o'clock. Then I patrolled at 11 o'clock. So I think it was around 12 o'clock. And the lights went out. I'm going to have to do something about this. Hold on just a second, because I look like one of those like shadowy, trying to do a secret interview, and I'm in hiding or something, witness protection. All right, I'm back. And I also turned on the air conditioner because it's getting kind of warm in here. I cannot believe how fast time is going by. I had to go real quick. Well, I don't think I'm going to hook my other laptop up just yet. I might not be able to get much gaming on, depending if we have enough guards tonight. I don't know, because we've been short. So I'm trying my brain. I feel like it was around 12 o'clock. Yelling intensifies. Somebody's outside yelling. They got their shirt off. They're yelling, yelling just all kinds of homophobic stuff, and somebody's yelling from upstairs out the window, and they're just going back and forth. And, people are kind of going in and out. And one guy comes in and he's like, you got to lock these doors because somebody's going to try to go out and they're going to try to fight it. They're going to try to, so I'm just like, okay. And then maybe a few minutes later, tall guy comes downstairs yelling. He's got his shirt off, I guess. And I think he had his shirt off, or he might have had it on a t-shirt. But it was like 4 people trying to hold him back. And they're just like, and he's just yelling at the person outside. The person outside is trying to come in, and they're just going back and forth. And I don't know. He's trying to get outside, and I don't know. They're really doing a good job of holding him back. But I'm just like sitting there like. And the thing is, I didn't really get freaked out. I don't know. It's just, and that kind of freaks me out in a way. Even though I think over time my heart started beating a little fast, but I think, then the saying that this is the new normal, and that worries me, because when you're in certain types of environments, you cannot tell me that it does not affect you in some ways over time. I mean, eventually it just, and you get to the point where you get desensitized. I mean, I'm just sitting there like, I'm drinking my V8. I had an energy drink. Thank God I hadn't drank that, because my heart would have probably. I had a couple of cups of coffee, so I think there's a little bit of caffeine. Somebody had left some coffee in here from an earlier function for us, and it had been sitting there in one of those big like paper box, things that they give you at Starbucks or whatever. And I had 2 cups of that, and I microwaved it, and it was okay. I guess the caffeine kicked in or something, but man, I was just sitting there. My supervisor comes over, and it's just chaos. Somebody gets hit in the mouth or something, because somebody's holding their mouth, and it's just yelling, and it's just chaos. And I don't know if this is just entertainment for some people. Maybe it is. Because, if you really, really, really were somebody's friend and you want to break up a fight, I don't know. You don't want to get hit. But it was a few people trying to hold this person back. And I have not lived my life like that. I was homeless when I first came to LA. So I got a little bit of street smarts. But some of these kids, I guess, because they have been in these environments and they have issues and just fighting and just the chaos is just the everyday thing. I mean, and that's sometimes I really worry about this generation, especially of LGBT, because this morning I was going home from work and I was talking with a Lyft driver, and he was talking about how how different things were when we were growing up, and how people really don't have the morality. It's like anything goes, and you can just be free to just do whatever and express yourself, and there's like no boundaries, and the role models are just like, we have community leaders, I guess, but like, and then and then you wonder about the higher ups, and like, do they know that this stuff is happening, or do they just, I don't know, is it just to let the lower life forms fight amongst themselves and sort it out? I don't know. It's frustrating sometimes, man, because I was talking to one of the guys that they were trying, actually the guy they were trying to hold back to try to keep him from going outside fighting the guy that he was yelling at, and we had a really nice conversation, really nice deep conversation, and it was really interesting. We were just talking about how I was trying to like give some advice, like, man, you're 23 years old, you out here, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock, you're out here in the streets fighting with somebody. You're going to end up dead, or you're going to end up in jail, or you're going to throw your life away. You're going to get a criminal record. I mean, what is your life going to be like? You're going to be able to get a job, all these things you got to think about, man. You can't let your emotions, and some people, fighting is just what they that's how they solve their problems. You can't tell them nothing, because some people are stubborn. Because one of the other guys that was involved in another fight that happened later, thank God I was out on patrol or on break or something when that happened, but that shit went down and people getting hit with frying pans and stuff. And I saw the video, they were showing me, the video, and and I'm like, man, this is not normal behavior. And then he's just going on like, well, this is my house, and somebody coming here disrespecting my guest and blah blah blah. But but you still, you throwing paws, throwing hands with somebody, man, and like, what's gonna happen? These are just, I don't understand. And and it's like, some people don't like the LGBT community, some people don't like black people, really. And then when you see certain behavior, and sometimes the media will just focus on that, and that's why sometimes people have a bad rap. But it's really sad to see people that I don't like to say that anybody's hopeless, but I guess if this is all is just fighting all the time, being out in the streets and hanging around with questionable characters, this is what your life is. I don't know, how do you get through to a person like that, man? What do you and I don't know, maybe the types of conversations that I was having with this homeboy last night, maybe this is not something that he really hears regularly. Because if I'm your friend, I'm going to tell you, you get your ass in the house, and you don't have to go out there and fight with nobody because they said something that upset you. It's words, you out here fighting, people, I heard somebody talk about a damn knife, this is serious, man. Hits hurt, and knife wounds hurt, bullets hurt too. I'm just being real, man. I don't know, is this just entertainment? Because I was watching the reaction. I swear, man, some people seem like they were really enjoying it. That's just my observation. But come on now, you a grown ass person, man. You look like outside fighting with somebody, 2-3 o'clock in the morning, over some nonsense. And but some people have issues, man. And I don't know. What do? You can't just be crazy to just take the two people and throw them in a cage and just let them fight, and it'll just be and away from everybody else. Just let them fight and just handle their business. But that would be cruel, I suppose. You could sit down and talk to people, and then it seems like they're listening, and then 5 minutes later they're right back on the phone arguing and yelling and acting crazy again. I don't know. I like to believe that I want to say, there's always a way, some of the, superheroes like, Superman or Captain America, they would probably always, well, probably more so Superman would always say there's always a way, and, but I don't know, man, when you are faced with certain situations, because I'm sitting there at the desk and I'm just like, I don't know, me getting, getting, excited or, having, freaking out or whatever is not going to help the situation. I don't know. I guess I've kind of gotten used to it. Like I said, I'm a little worried about that. And when I woke up today, I do remember waking up a few times and my heart was beating like really fast. And I had issues with anxiety years ago. I actually had to take time off of work. So I don't know. This is something that I need to really start taking seriously, because I can't really, this kind of environment, man, I'm telling you, it can take a toll after a while. And I mean, I know law enforcement, when I see some videos on YouTube and what they have to deal with, man, I mean, it's the same thing though, really. It kind of is. We don't have weapons, we don't have, at least police officers, as a rule, they tend to get more respect than security, because people call us snitches or rent-a-cops, and they don't respect us much of the time, because we don't really we can't, kick somebody out. So of course they don't. Some of the kids, they don't really respect the security staff here. But I've seen some people blatantly respect the police officers, and I'm just like surprised, because I was pulled over at gunpoint by police officers years ago, and it just kind of messed me up a little bit. It's not as bad as it used to be, but I used to get really, really, like really super uncomfortable around police officers. Now I really don't. And I don't know, I guess I got over that traumatic event. Something happened. I did have some friends that were cops that were really cool, really, really cool, real good people, man. I mean, they just really treated me like, a, sentient, valuable person, with so I mean, I really appreciate that. But so yeah, last night was just kind of crazy. I should say this morning, because it all really started in the late hours of the night, the morning, going into the morning. And I think it was over with, because when I came back to the desk at 4 o'clock, was it 4 o'clock? Yeah, I was talking with my supervisor, and yeah, everything was just kind of like winding down. But I'm just so glad that I was not here when they were out there, beating people with, just beating people with frying pans or whatever. And I just see one guy and another guy just going, and just, I never seen shit like that, in real life. I've seen fights when I was a kid, but in real life, generally, no. The last time I actually saw someone get hit was, I used to ride the train into Long Beach at least once or twice a year. I would just go, it's a nice little 45-minute ride, put my headphones on, some jazz, relax, read something on my Kindle. Can't do that no more, because, last time I tried that, young guy, probably about 20, about 22, 23 years old, probably the same age as the guy I was talking to last night, punched his brother, another brother, probably about 65 or something. He was an older gentleman. But he hit him, blood splattered everywhere. The guy flies back. He hits the floor, bam, his phone, keys flying everywhere, and everybody jumped up, But I'm like, well, damn, so much for my peaceful, quiet ride to the damn, to Long Beach to relax by the water and just sit out there and collect my thoughts. And, man, the guy was bleeding, and somebody gave him tissue. Blood was just pouring. I mean, it's just really something to see a 23-year-old black man deck a 70-year-old black man, and just like it's nothing. And he got off the train way before the police or anybody came, because I think I remember the conductor came out, and the police came eventually. I think they stopped the train for a bit. It's all hazy in my mind, man. But I tell you, I've seen some crazy stuff over the years, but I don't know. It should not be normalized when you see this kind of craziness, man. I mean, I'm just like, I got to get out of here. I don't know if I need to maybe really think about I don't know, maybe looking for something like maybe a security job at a high rise or something, because those types of positions usually are more like peaceful and laid back, But the only thing is the pay and the benefits won't be the same. Because I've been here for 18 years, and I got really good benefits. So just being real here. So anyway, that is my Nerds with Badges episode for today. I try to talk more about video game and comic books and stuff, but I guess I had to talk about that. I didn't blog anything. I haven't blogged in a while. I used to blog pretty frequently. But yeah, my Mario thing was, my internet getting fixed was just like that, really the highlight of this, probably like this whole month. There is an event coming up, I think later this month, called IGN Live. And I'm probably going to go and do a video. And as far as comic books go, there is some Godzilla. It's Godzilla versus X-Men comic book that just came out. So I'm going to read that. Maybe I'll do a review on that, because I don't think I've done a comic book review before. So this is Nerds with Badges, my platform where I talk about video games, comic books, technology, movies, nerd shit, cosplaying, anything that's in the nerd culture, the blurred culture, from the black person's point of view. But Nerds with Badges, if you have a badge, you security guard, you're a cop, you're a Nerds with a badge, anything that requires a badge, and if you have an interest in the nerd lifestyle, then this platform would be for you, because I want to create a platform, a medium for security guards that are into nerd stuff. So I will be doing different things. Sometimes I have guests, sometimes I talk about different things, sometimes I go on trips and things, I go to conventions. So I try to do these videos frequently, because people say you need to post more frequently, so I'm trying to get in the habit of doing videos daily. But usually it's when something crazy happens or something really important that I really just need to just talk about, like last night, and my internet, of course, because it really sucks when you can't go online and play Mario Kart. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm out of here. I got God, it's 9:48. Jeez, time just flies by, I tell you. Well, 9:47 according to my watch, and 9:48 on my computer. I wonder which one is right. Anyway, have a good night, and until the next time.